Hello everybody, JGamerB here, and yeah, I'm making another video for Halloween. Um, and this is also something I wanted to talk about because I've seen this also a lot. Everybody is saying that Halloween is a reskin of Friday the 13th, the game. And some of it's bad, like some people say it's a bad thing, and some say it's a good thing because um, Friday the 13th, a lot of people enjoy, so like they don't think it's a bad thing because of it being a Friday the 13th reskin, and some think it's a bad thing because we're literally copying and pasting a game. But I don't believe that Halloween is a reskin of Friday the 13th, and I'm gonna explain why. Now, you're going to throw at me saying, oh, it's because of all the kills and the abilities and some similar gameplay mechanics. Some gameplay mechanics, yes, there are some similar things that are in Halloween that were in Friday the 13th, like the grab, for example, the sensibility of the killer sense, and the fact of on certain there are some kills, some, not all of them, but some that are a little bit similar, like the fire one and maybe the window. Well, the window's different, so I'm not going to list that one, but it's definitely different than Friday the 13th because even though the gameplay is a little similar, the place the play style is completely different in Halloween the game. At least the Myers one. I don't know much for the civilian one, so I'm gonna try my best from what I learned. I'm trying to remember as much as I can, but the Myers one is mainly something I'm focused on here. So why I think Halloween the game is not a reskin of Friday the 13th is because even though there are some gameplay mechanics that are similar, not all of them are. You got a complete different mechanic called Blackout, for example. That's a complete different ability. And something like the phone lines and how they work are also different. Then the cops are a different mechanic as well, differently than how Friday the 13th worked. But the play style is very different, at least for Michael. Um, how Jason works in Friday the 13th the game. All you do as Jason, I mean, sure, you kill people. Like the objective is to kill all the camp counselors, and Myers' objective is to kill all the residents. Okay, well, nothing different. They just kill. There's nothing wrong with that. But how they do it is different. That is the difference that I've seen a lot of people overlooked when they talk about how Halloween is the same as Friday the 13th in the gameplay, and this goes to movies as well, at least the Super Zombie Jason movies. In Friday the 13th, the game, how the playstyle of Jason works is all you do is you use your morph ability, then you go trap whatever objectives you want, the phone, the cars, whatever, and then you just go, at least the good Jasons that do, and then you just go off hunting. And how you hunt players down is the only thing that's going to be very different than Halloween. How you hunt down the counselors is all you do is you walk up to a cabinet or whatever, or somebody that you see with your sensibility, and then you just like walk up to them. You could try to murder them if they try to move, which most likely they will. They're not going to be AFK very rarely. Then you just follow them, and that's all you do. You just follow them. If they go into a cabinet, then you just break the door down or break windows, whatever. You could break windows, you could break doors, just do some destruction, and then you just walk them down again until you get your shift ability. Then you have to use shift. You have to utilize both shift and throwing knives to catch your opponent. If they have weapons and try to swing at you, you can easily block or you can double back, whatever choice you make, and you can grab. And that's just pretty much how the gameplay works and how you kill. You walk up, you break like a door to go in, and then you just go straight up grab or slash them to death, whatever you do to kill them. And that's just it. That's all you do as Jason. If you have the stock ability, you could play a little bit of stealth, but that won't work really because if smart counselors would just stay in a closed space, and you'll never ever 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 get the jump on them unless if they really assume that you were just gone, to like an they're ejected or wherever, and then they'll just walk out. That's the only time. But if they enclose themselves in a space room and they know damn well that the eject is not done, they're going to assume you're stalking. And that's just it. Like with Jason, it's all about brute force. And I could say that for the movies. Good example, in Halloween Part 7, the New Blood movie, when Jason was chasing that telekinesis girl, don't even know her name, when she barricaded in a room, Jason just jumps through a window loud and clear and just pursues her loud and clear. That's all Jason does. He'll jump through and just pursue her. And there's probably some other times like that, like in Part 6 movie, Jason rarely uses any of the stealth. This is important later from when I'm going to talk about Michael. So that's pretty much it. It's all about brute force. Jason likes to go direct. He goes direct with his victims. That's how he does it. He bursts through doors. He jumps through a window. I mean, rarely, but in the Part 7 he did. And that's all he does. He just bursts through doors. There are times where Jason will try to sneak up on you. There are times where he tried to get a sneak up and do a murder. So not everything's all about what I just said, but it's most likely the case. He is most likely going to be bursting through. At least when he chases, that's what he mostly will do. Now, Myers, on the other hand, is different. In Halloween the game, it's all about using your shape jump to go immediately out on the hunt, and it's all about using your stealth and stalking, utilizing those two to ambush your victims. Michael's the type of killer that likes to sneak up and ambush his victims. He doesn't often go direct. He likes to take a strategy. He likes to study his prey and take a strategy on how he does it, striking when the time is right. That's how Michael also does in the movies. Using your shape jump to invincibly and quickly to move into a resident's house, and using the shadows to keep yourself hidden, or at least harder to detect for the real players, that is, and using your stalk ability to study. Basically, to watch them and you stalk them like in the movies. And as you're stalking them, you plan a route, plan a direction you want to take, a route that you want to take that can give you a kill, or plan your move. Do I want to go straight up to this guy sitting on a couch and just murder him, or do I want to go and shut off the lights on certain areas so that I can go towards him in a different way where he's not suspecting and get the jump on. And it's easier to do that considering how the civilians react in Halloween is vastly different than Friday the 13th. And Friday the 13th, the game, let's just say like a Vanessa or a Chad, they could be running forward, but they could be looking behind them at the same time, and you as the Jason player wouldn't even know that. When their character's head does turn, for like left or right, but when they're moving, that's a rare thing, and when they look behind, their heads don't turn. So you as a Jason player cannot tell where they're looking. You can easily assume, but that's just it. As for Halloween though, whenever a civilian moves, their body moves as well. So the Michael player can use this to their advantage. I know that this player is looking at the doorway while I'm at the window, so I can easily shape jump through a window if the area is not lit up and get the jump on her. Or let's just say, okay, so I know they're looking at the doorway I'm hiding behind. They don't know I'm there yet, but I know they're looking that direction. Then I see them turn, and I know when to strike now. I know when to come out and get a ambush. And since I know exactly where they're looking, I can easily tell when is the correct time to appear and try to murder them. That is the difference between playing as Jason in Friday the 13th the game and Michael Myers in Halloween the game. And further proof is in the Halloween movies, Michael also likes to use the shadows a lot. He likes to sneak up. Michael's also a smart killer. I know Jason's smart, but I think the human Jason was like the smart killer, like the part 2 for the part 3, maybe even 4. But ever since Jason is a super zombie, he's not really that smart. He's probably not too dumb either, but I don't think he's that smart as Michael was. Good example is in the original 1978 Halloween's movie, when Michael killed Bob. Where Michael killed Bob through the wall, or like when he killed and pinned Bob up, there was a glass door that Laurie Strode soon took later when she decided to investigate what's going on in that house since there was no calls. And the same door that Laurie Strode walked through that Bob was originally killed, Bob's body was gone. So that means Michael moved his body. And then that's when this was before Laurie Strode found the bodies. And then when Michael was chasing Laurie Strode after she went down the stairs, the same doorway, the same entryway that Laurie walked through was already blocked off by a rake now, meaning that Michael was actually stalking her, but we as the audience don't even know that, and he saw her go through that doorway where she entered it and blocked it off because that's most likely where she's going to be going out. So Michael is smart. He watched her from the shadows when we didn't even know that when we were watching the movie. Another good example is when Laurie Strode was running out of the house going to Tommy's house while Michael Myers was following her behind. When she got into Tommy's house, Michael did 2 smart things. First one is cutting off phone lines. Michael cut the phone lines because he knew that Laurie was going to call the police when she entered Tommy's house. And the second is that the window scene, when Jason jumps through a window, Jason just jumps through a window in the Part 7 movie, alerting the telekinesis girl before he has the chance to kill her. Michael, though, in the original Halloween, when Laurie Strode was going towards the couch, the window was shown open, which means Michael secretly and silently climbed through the window and he hid behind the couch ready to ambush Laurie. He almost got the jump on her. So Michael likes to use stalk and ambush. That's how Michael works. And that's how he works in some of the other movies. Another good example I would say is Halloween 2018. Where that kid dressed like that one kid that was dressed up as the devil himself with the cape on and everything, when he was rejected by Laurie's daughter Allison, I think I said that correctly, Michael was standing watching, sort of like half in the darkness, but wasn't completely in the darkness because the kid noticed him, but the lights behind that kid were motion sensor lights. So out of nowhere, they just turn off. And when they turn on, Michael was right in front of him. There is no way that Michael Myers, a normal human that people claim he is, would be able to be able to move in front of that kid really quickly without setting off motion detected lights. Yeah, that is not human. And this would probably explain why they have a blackout ability for the Halloween game. Some people say even Saki Boy couldn't figure out about how the ability for Michael Myers is not really an accurate movie. It's just a gameplay mechanic. And Stocky Boy further says that, saying about how they have to do some mechanics to keep Myers a threat that isn't related to the movies. But that's the only good example I could think of that's kind of related to that blackout. What if Michael just turned off the motion sensor lights by himself and then they just turn back on when he's right in front of him? That's a theory of mine. I think that's a good theory as to why he has a blackout. But other than that, though, Michael often likes to use stealth and shadows. Now, in the future movies, like Halloween 6, for example, there are times where Michael just uses brute force, like the gate for when he was chasing those two people with the baby. He just smashes some patient's face in through that steel door. Yeah, there are times where Michael doesn't really cut them off guard like he did with Laurie in the original Halloween movie. And even so, he's also just as smart for Halloween 2. I rarely see Michael do a sneak up attack. Or actually, I could be wrong. I now remembering from the top of my head, he did. In Halloween 2, Michael creepily, silently went through the door in the beginning of the scene where before he killed that lady next door, whatever. He also was able to evade Dr. Sam Lewis and the cops using the shadows. And then in the scene where he found Laurie going to Haddonfield in the Haddonfield Hospital, he did a smart thing by cutting off phone lines. Yeah, he cut off the phone lines in Halloween 2. That's how Laurie knew Michael was coming, because he did the same thing to her in the original movie, in the first movie. He was also able to hide himself away from the guard, aka Garrett, and he ambushed him after at the right moment when he closed that one of those closet doors, whatever. So yeah, Michael ambushed the guard there. And then another scene is the some dude and the nurse in Halloween 2 having their own, moment, I should say, in the hot tub. Michael used the temperature to force them out, and he waited for one of them to approach, because he knew that they were going to come to investigate. And the guy investigated, he killed him without the nurse knowing, and then he silently approaches the nurse, ready to go in for the kill. So yeah, Michael was smart there. He ambushed as well. Yeah, that's how Halloween, like, to play as Michael, Michael, like, some Michael players, when I look at the Pack East gameplay, I have seen some people try to play as Myers, like Jason Voorhees, and that is never a good thing. Because you want to play Myers like Myers in the movies. You want to utilize Shape Jump and the stalking ability to both plan your move and grow stronger due to the stalking mechanic and Bloodthirst. If you attack head on, you're never going to win. You won't win if you attack head on, because you'll be too weak. You need to have at least Bloodthirst Tier 1 before you start murdering, at least, the real players, that is. And even if you're in Bloodthirst Tier 3, yeah, sure, you can brute force if you want to, like Jason, at least if you're in, like, high levels of Bloodthirst, like level 2 or 3. When they, like, fight you, like, swing at you with weapons or whatever. But other than that, besides that, you still do not want to approach them from a mile away like you would with Jason in Friday the 13th, the game. Even if you're at max Bloodthirst, because if they all had guns, they'll just shoot you far away. So it's better to just ambush them from the darkness, using your Shape Jump. So, like, yeah, you want to utilize Shape Jump, like how Myers cut off, almost nearly ambushed Laurie. If you're chasing a certain real player, you can use Shape Jump when they're not looking to ambush them from around corners, like fences or any other structures of houses and doors. Like, you could predict they're gonna run to this resident's house. I'm gonna Shape Jump over there, face through the window and door, without them noticing, because I heard something about how windows and doors shake a little bit if he shapes around, and that alerts the real players that, oh, Myers is there. So you want to do it where they're not watching still. And then when they lock themselves in thinking they're safe, only to realize you're behind them, and now they're locked in there with you. That is the perfect way to play as Myers in the Halloween game. Utilizing your strategy. You want to play smart. You don't want to brute force and just rampage. No, you want to play smart with Michael. And yes, it's important to hide bodies like in the original movie to keep your presence low so the cops don't often hide. Like, they did Myers perfect, even though there was some gameplay that they use. And I almost got into a debate with someone about the kills. Oh, I had this one dude that said, oh, Myers is a reskin of Jason, not only in the game, but in the whole movie because of all the kills. Bro, so if Ghostface were to stab someone, oh, Ghostface is doing a Myers thing. Now Ghostface is just a Myers 2.0. Is that the argument? Any killer is going to be brutal. They're designed to kill. Of course, Michael's going to do some kills that Jason did. Also, if Jason were to ambush like Myers did in some of the movies in his super zombie form, then the whole Friday the 13th franchise is just Halloween 2.0. And if Halloween would do the opposite, then Halloween is just like a reskin of Friday the 13th. But no, they're completely different because of the examples I put out. So yeah, it's just a dumb debate I have to deal with someone on the comments of YouTube. Another debate I had to do was Shape Jump. A lot of people said that Shape Jump is like a reskin of the Shift, and I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. I don't believe it's true, and it's because how they work different. Shift is like, they last for a couple seconds. You mainly use that just to close the distance, like direct approach, literally. Even if you're like part 6 and 9. So Shift is not really, like Shape Jump's not really a similar way as Shift. Yeah, even though Michael goes invincible like Jason can go invincible right in front of you and you would know it. Michael cannot. Michael has to do it where you're not suspecting. How Shape Jump works differently because, first of all, it lasts a longer time, like forever, as long as you wish, and it lasts for like 5 seconds. But you don't want to use that to try to close the distance. I mean, you can. That's if you stalk them enough. If you fully stalk them, you can use it as a shift. That's a strategy feint. But you mainly want to use it as if you are ready to ambush behind structures like I mentioned earlier, or mainly use it to sneak up on them. It could be utilized as an ambush, and that's how you want to use it to catch them off guard. So yeah, I don't believe it's really a reskin, even though there's some animations works. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about Civilian. I'm going to try my best to understand. So Civilian, or Survivor, whatever, Heroes, whatever you call them, they do act a little similar with Friday the 13th, or probably more similar than I think. Because it's kind of the same thing. Like, for Counselor and Friday the 13th, what you want to do first is you kind of want to just search for escape items, but you just want to loot certain things that could help improve your chances of survival. Baseball bats, wrenches, to help you survive against Jason, or pocket knives so you can escape from his grab, healing spray so you can heal yourself. But you also want to find parts like battery, gas, and car keys, or propeller and gas for the bow, or the phone fuse. Yeah, it's kind of very similar with Halloween, no doubt that at all. But Halloween also has an interesting way on how you want to survive. So even though the play style of both are very similar for Survivor gameplay, I think it's just a little added more steps. So like NPCs, you this time in Halloween you want to warn the residents that Michael is in Haddonfield and he's murdering people. And this kind of spice up gameplay, really. Gameplay's kind of similar. I won't argue against that. I just don't think Myers is similar. But I think the gameplay difference with Civilian on Halloween is it just spices up more gameplay. You can warn the residents if you want. I think that's just up to you. And you can escape just if you want, but the game's going to count you as a loss if you do. So mainly, it's all about NPCs, and yes, it's the same for Myers as well. Myers doesn't really want to chase the real players. You really do want to just target NPCs and use it as a way to build up your blood first, build up your overall power, and it's just kind of a way to win the game as well. You earn points if you kill. So it's another way to win, not just for you to grow stronger, but it's a winning condition as well. It's a PvPvE game that they are making for Halloween. So not only that, as a civilian, you want to go and loot some stuff to improve your chances of surviving against Michael and finding ways to escape, similarly like Friday the 13th. You also want to warn the residents that Michael is in Haddonfield and stuff. But I think there's a good variety of way of doing that, because once you do convince them of Michael's presence, you can do a couple of things. You can tell them to hide into a closet or whatever, so that Michael can't really find them. Though I don't think it's a good idea because of the sense, whatever. We'll just have to see how that works. I highly doubt, though. You can arm them with a weapon that you have, or whatever you could find, so that if Michael does come to them, they could protect themselves. That's one option. Another option, you could tell them to follow you, so you can kind of build a little army of yours. You could have an NPC help you in the fight. It may not be good because of the AI. I keep hearing a lot about how AI is bad, and from what I watch, yeah, some of it's bad. I'm pretty sure they will improve that before the release. But yeah, they can help you if they can. Like, it's a possibility. It's like a coin flip, really, heads or tails type of thing. But either way, that's another thing. And like, or you could tell them to call the cops. You can tell them to call the cop. That's probably the number one thing that all of the civilian players are going to do. Call the police. That's what a lot of them are probably going to do, because the more cops that arrive, the better chances you can survive. Because not only they're equipped better and probably has more health too to fight against Michael. If you call them enough, a police wagon will come, and that's another option to escape. And like, it's just at work. Like, I hear a lot of people that saying that NPCs are a bad thing because I don't want to babysit them. You don't have to babysit them. All you do is you warn them and you tell them to do whatever. If you want to babysit them, you can tell them to follow you. But you mainly just want to ask, if you don't want to babysit them, just tell them something different. Tell them to go hide. Go arm them. So they can look out for themselves, or get them to call the cops. Like, most likely whatever player is going to do. Something like that. You don't always have to babysit them. Just warn them. I think you earn points by just warning them alone. So yeah, that's all you really do. You don't have to babysit them from Michael. You don't have to throw your life away in a game to go save an NPC. Like, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. It's not required really for the game. That's the one thing I don't get when a lot of people said it's a bad thing of babysitting. That's literally an option. Like, I can't believe a lot of people don't see it that way. I think it's just more variety. I think that's the difference between Friday the 13th gameplay and Halloween's gameplay, is that there's more variety. There's more options. There's a little bit gameplay spice up and all that. And like, a lot of people would disagree with me saying that because, oh well, it's a 1v7 in Friday the 13th, and this game's only a 1v4. How's it more variety in Halloween if you have 6 other real players, or 7 if we count Tommy Jarvis? That's because there's 13 NPCs. It's a 1v Haddonfield, really 1v13 for the whole town. You got 4 real players, but you got 9 other NPCs. You got 12 other people you could play compared to 6. That's like double anything, really. Oh, and let's not forget about the cops. From the cops mechanic, if you keep calling them and there's a presence that Michael's there, if you convince them, they will always keep spawning. Like, they will never stop spawning. So it's not really a 1v12. It's actually a 1v everything, really. 1v whatever number you can get. I mean, because the cops can spawn as much as they want. And if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but I think if you die, you can come back as a sheriff deputy all the time. Like, yeah, you can come back as Dr. Sam Lewis and as sheriff deputy, like I said, but I think you can always keep coming back as sheriff deputy. So let's just say you die, then you come back as a sheriff, then you die again from Michael as a sheriff, and then you come back as a different sheriff. I think that's how it works. I think. I could be wrong, but if I'm right, this will help improve replayability that a lot of people think that Iconic don't understand. That it's like a good way to keep players in the game, because the biggest problem with Friday the 13th, yeah, even Friday the 13th suffered this problem. If you get killed too quickly by Jason and don't come back as Tommy, you're just stuck spectating until the game's over, and it just sucks because you just want to play the game. You don't want to like spectate and all that shit. If you suck playing the game and you die too quickly by a good Jason, and if you're not lucky enough to become Tommy, you're just stuck waiting until the game's over, and that just sucks for a lot of people. I have seen so many people DC after they get killed because of this reason. So the fact that it seems like Iconic kind of took notes of that and make it replayable, like similar to Predator Hunting Grounds. If you get killed by Predator, but if one of your teammates managed to get a radio squad in, you can revive back. So like, there's a little bit of some replayability there. If your teammates are letting the NPCs know, and either them or the NPCs calling the cops a lot, you can always come back. That's kind of how it works. So it's kind of like radioing Tommy Jarvis, except all the time. Can be all the time, really. So that's a very good touch that Iconic did for replayability of the game. It fixes one of the most major problems that Friday the 13th suffered back then. Either way, I don't think Halloween's a reskin of Friday the 13th. I think the playstyle, like, yeah, there's some mechanics are really similar, but there's definitely different playstyles. Like, for Civilian, instead of just trying to escape, not only you want to escape, but you want to uh, save the town as well. Just let people know it's a little additional task. You can play hero if you want, or like Michael Myers, like play style is very different. Like instead of just me bursting through doors and walking up to them and trying to kill them and all that stuff, knowing like they know. Instead of doing all of that, I can use shape jump and I can just sneak up on them with stealth, knowing when to strike and ambush. And then when the ambush fails, you can do another ambush. Like endless supplies of jump scares means endless supplies of ambushes. If one ambush fails, you can do another. So yeah, you want to study. Like if you're gonna attack, you want to look at what are they doing. Or like if they're all grouped up, do they have guns? Are they all grouped up together? Is there like if they have their voice comms on, what are they planning? Remember, I know Jason has a little bit of a stalk ability where you can kind of listen in before you like go in to start the chase. But Michael has that way better because from what I heard, the music Halloween theme only plays if the hero spots you. So Michael pretty much has the stalk ability as well, but permanent, like permanently. Um, and as a hero, if you don't want to get ambushed by Michael, you want to stick into close light. You want to stick into the light because he can't shape jump you there. You also want to avoid being stalked too much, otherwise he'll just appear closer to you. If you try to outrun. And remember, even though like you may not go next to them as much, if they keep running away and you're chasing them and it keeps going, they'll eventually run out of stamina. Like I think there's a stamina like similar to Friday the 13th. So eventually, as long as they're not looking at you, you can always get closer and closer and closer until they run out of stamina, and then you could just kill them. That's just how it works. Basically delaying the inevitable. But other than that, though, you mainly want to ambush. So that's everything. This video's going long. I gotta cut it there, and I'll talk to you guys later.